Hello, my friends, and welcome back to our nugget for week 10, where we'll be talking about giving back, specifically reviewing God's counsel regarding our last years. What are things that we should do? What should we avoid? And what principles should we follow? Have you ever heard of the acronym FOGO? It stands for Fear of Getting Old. Apparently, it's a more common fear than you think. In 2014, a survey conducted online in over 2,000 Americans ages 18 and older reported that 87% of the participants had at least one fear of getting old. Among those fears, 23% worried about a decline in their physical ability, 15% worried about memory loss, 12% worried about running out of money, and another 12% were concerned about chronic illness. Surprisingly, only 10% said they were afraid of dying. That hardly sounds like the golden years. By the way, that term was coined in 1959 as a marketing strategy that tried to get people to look forward to retirement, not as the end of your working years, but as the beginning to a new and better life. In Testimonies for the Church, Ellen White states that all these fears about aging originate with Satan. If they would take the position which God would have them, their last days might be their best and happiest. They should lay aside anxiety and burdens and occupy their time as happily as they can and be ripening up for heaven. Wait, you might say, I'm not even close to getting old, so this week's lesson really doesn't apply to me. Actually, it does. Because the decisions that you make in the present, as well as the character traits that you work on in the present, are just going to intensify in your old age. So if you're stingy with your money in the present, you're going to get even stingier with it in your golden years. Or if you've always been disorganized with your finances, guess what? It's going to intensify in your aging years. If you've been generous throughout your life, you will be more generous in your retirement years. You see, the very clear principle of you reap what you sow applies to our money in our golden years. Which brings us to the parable Jesus told about the rich fool. It's interesting to note that Jesus prefaced the story with the following words: "Take heed and beware of covetousness, for one's life does not consist in the abundance of the things he possesses." The parable is very short, basically describing a man who was so rich he didn't even know what to do with all his wealth. So he decides to build bigger storage for his wealth, saying, "Soul, you have many goods laid up for many years. Take your ease, eat, drink, and be merry." But God said to him, "Fool, this night your soul will be required of you. Then whose will those things be which you have provided? So is he who lays up treasure for himself and is not rich toward God." What are you living for? To accumulate wealth and keep it all for yourself, worried that you're going to run out? Or are you a vessel, both in the present and in your golden years, to bless others, whether financially or with other resources? And that's our nugget for today. I hope to see you tomorrow.